A huge question every designer asks themselves when they're starting a new logo project is, what do I need to give the client? Surely it just can't be the logo. Well, today I'm going to be answering that question with 5 things you need to give your client when designing a logo. Or shall I say 5 assets that you'll need to give them. This video is brought to you by AppSumo. Of course, there are hundreds of assets you'll have to give sometimes, depending on the client. For instance, if they're creating cars, you'll need to give them an asset that will allow them to print or to create the logo onto metal to put onto cars. So like an EPS or an Adobe Illustrator file in a slightly different color. But today I'm going to be talking generally about what you need to be giving your clients at the end of the process to make sure that 1, you're giving them everything they ever need so they never have to come back to you for a different file, and 2, exactly how to give it to them in the easiest way, and you're going to be shocked, so make sure you watch to the end. So number 1, you've got to give them the logo, but in different forms. It's not enough just to give a client an EPS or an Adobe Illustrator file for the logos. The reason being is that if you give them just the Illustrator file, they'll be trying to upload that to their Twitter social media icon or their profile picture on their Facebook page. It wouldn't work. So the first thing you need to give them is a logo in a myriad of different ways. So the first thing you need to give the client is the images that they can use. So this means that you have thought of every single file format that you could ever think of to give the client, and that means an EPS, SVG, Adobe Illustrator file, PNG, JPEG. But not only that, if you have a logo like this one that I'm showing you, which is Brooks Mold, you'll have an icon, a logo type, and you could have a tagline or a slogan. And all of these need to be done separately and given separately for the designers that they're going to be using later down the line to create their websites and all of their stationery items. So all of the icons that you give to the client have to be able to be used. So this could mean creating the icon for their usage. If their main usage is a masthead, you need to spend time on what that client needs. So you have to create a masthead version for the website to be used and label it accordingly. So that's number 1, giving them all different file types. Number 2 is brand guidelines. Now, if you've never heard of brand guidelines, it's basically when the logo designer or the agency that have designed the logo gives a guideline, a very strict one, of how the logo should be used. It shows every single type of logo that you've got and where it should be placed. Now, if you don't know, there's a company called AppSumo who give you amazing deals to apps such as Brandox. Brandox is an app that allows you to take every asset that you've created for that logo and upload it onto a web page where then you can share it to the client for them to download. You can even upload your brand guidelines to there by just marking them down in the captions for each of the logos. This is how I've been creating my logo files. I first go ahead and create the logo package from the logo package extension that I've got, which I'll link down below. Then I go ahead to Brandox, which is provided by AppSumo, and I go ahead and upload each of the different assets there. The client then only has to download them and has it on the internet for them to see and for them to download. This means that it's so much easier sharing the files and a lot prettier and gives a better explanation than just sending them a dud email with loads of files in it or a WeTransfer. That's what I do to have all of my brand assets to the client, to hand them over correctly in the right file type and size. Now, if I want to create brand guidelines, I can upload documents to there as well, where I can easily just create different sections to mark out where the logo should be used and where it shouldn't be used, what color it should be used in, what size, what padding around the logo should be, and when to use the icon by itself and when to use the full logo type, just the typography side of the logo, or the tagline. So there's a lot of different elements there, but the main reason why you need to have this for the client is because if they're handing this over to another designer who will be designing their posters, designing some product packaging, they need to know exactly where the logo is going to be. So it's not enough just to hand over the logo design in one color or in a few different colors. You need to be able to hand everything over so they never have to ask you for another file type Again, if you'd like to know more about AppSumo and Brandox, click that link down below in the description. They've got hundreds of different apps that you can use for a great deal and a great price that will help you with your design work, sending files, or even creating design work. Click the link down below. You need to also have a one color logo design and full color logo design in different color formats. Now, depending on how the client is going to be using the logo, it's always a good idea to have your logo given in CMYK and RGB. The difference between CMYK and RGB is a digital color space where you view it on a screen, and CMYK simply means cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, which is just basically different colors that are used for printing. So it's super important to have all these different color spaces throughout the documents that you're giving, because the printer needs to be able to print them correctly and for it to be viewed correctly in the brand color, and the screen needs to do the same. A hugely important asset you need to give to your client is a one color type or variation of the logo. If your logo has more than one color, which a lot of them do, then you need to be able to give them the one color that's in white and in black for when they're printing or giving to a different designer. Reason being, you're not going to be able to print or etch or burn the logo into an object in color. So you need to be able to give them these different assets for that. Not only should you be giving your client the logo designs, you should also be giving the client typographic choices. For instance, when I'm working with Brooks Mold, I didn't just give him the logo and say, hey, there you go. I also gave him typeface choices, fonts that he can use on websites, fonts that he can use where his brand is being shown. Reason being, font pairing is imperative. You need to have a good font pairing. For Brooks Mold, I would choose Poppins or Gilroy, something along those lines, or Filson Pro, depending on what kind of vibe I'm trying to give. The reason we have to give typeface choices is so it matches with the logo design. What you don't want to see happening with clients, especially if they start doing it themselves or not going to another designer to do brochures or website design, you don't want to see them using Comic Sans along with your logo, because that makes the design look bad. It's not just about the logo, it's about how the logo is used and how the brand is perceived visually. Another asset that you need to give to your client is color choice. Brand colors are huge. It's not enough just to have it in black and white unless you're Apple or a company like Nike. It's important nowadays, now that everything is digital, to give your brand colors a good look at and to also make sure the client follows them. These brand colors need to be given in a hex code. They also need to be given in CMYK and Pantone. This means that the color that you're choosing is correct all the way throughout the digital and physical and printing process. So everything is looking the same. The next one is diagrams. If you don't know how to show where the logo is through writing or where it should be through writing, then you should diagram it. Give them something that they can visualize. Remember, brand guidelines and everything on Brandox that you're putting into there is going to another designer. So they will probably understand what you're talking about, where the logo padding should be, where the logo should be placed, and how it should be viewed. So don't hold back on telling them different aspects of how the logo should be. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found that helpful. If you would like to know more information about Brandox and to download it today for an insane price, click the link down below where it'll take you to AppSumo, the sponsor of this video, and you'll be able to start uploading your assets really easily. AppSumo don't just have Brandox, but they've got hundreds of other applications and softwares for you designers at a great price, and I'm really thankful that they sponsored this video today. If you did enjoy the video, please press that red subscribe button, that like button, share button if you want, depending on whether you want to share this, which I hope you do. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you've sent to your clients and what you've learned in this video, and I'll see you in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.